Hello again, everyone. I'm Richard Weil, and I'm the principal and CEO of National Restaurant Consultants, and we welcome you to our NRC Helpful Moment number 54. And we appreciate you joining us again, and to all the wonderful responses we're getting from all over the country. Thank you so much. Again, I'm joined by the wonderful Brian Devine, President of Top Line Management and CafeFuel. And today, our featured guest and special guest is Dr. Pat Moreo, the Dean of the College of Hospitality and Leadership Management, University of South Florida, Sarasota, Manatee. And Dr. Moreo, we're delighted to have you, and thanks for being a part of our series here at the NRC Helpful Moment. Pat, welcome.
I'm honored to be invited, Dick.
Well, we're really glad to have you. So Dr. Moreo, it's certainly been quite a pivot since the middle of March, and what do you see that's going on in terms of higher education, in terms of your faculty, in terms of your staff and dealing with it, as well as what you see higher education supporting the food service hospitality industry, both restaurants and hotels, as far as what you think you all can do to support it as we move away or move to reopening restaurants, hotels in COVID-19? That's kind of a double question, but I know you can handle it. So thank you.
Well, all right, I'll start with the academic part of it first, Richard. You and I have been together for many years on 3 different boards of advisors, and I'm very grateful to you for being on this advisory board. It's wonderful to have you. Of course, for us, it meant changing things within really 3 days and moving from online, from face-to-face instruction to online instruction. Now, the good news for us is that our degree has been 80%, 85% available online for a few years. So the only courses we haven't done online and hadn't done online are the Intro Foods course and the Restaurant Ops course, where our students run. Right now we're calling it the Bistro, but you've been at many schools. It's a different thing in each place, but running the restaurant. So one is a freshman course, one's a senior course. It's kind of their capstone, one of them. So that presented a bit of a challenge, and so we were able to take our online experience and make that work. And for the faculty who weren't so sure of that, the faculty who were sure of it were just wonderful. They just teamed up with them and walked them through the process, as did our university here in our campus in Sarasota, Manatee, which, as you know, on July 1st will become one USF. So we'll be Sarasota, Manatee, and Tampa and St. Petersburg in one campus. And we will be moving into the College of Business on July 1st, a month from today, as the School of Hospitality and Tourism Management, with me as dean still, and faculty all in place, and that all works. So for us, I think the big change is that we are going to have to continue to work on finding ways to deliver those lab courses in a way that makes sense, so that the students are getting the same experience. Are they ever going to get the same experience of looking at eyeballs in the dining room and problems and opportunities? No, I don't think so. But we are working on that. So our plan right now is in the fall, we will be partially opening the campuses, all 3 campuses, to students face-to-face live, but with social distancing and masks and the whole 9 yards. We're going to try opening both labs in the fall. Fortunately, our classes are small enough that I think we're going to be able to make that work with social distancing. The part we haven't quite completely figured out yet is whether guests are going to want to come. That's number 1. And number 2, we can space them okay, but it's inside. I don't have any outside seating over there. So we're just going to have to play that by ear. Long term for academics, what does it mean? Well, for some of my colleagues, long term, it means they're going to be more comfortable with teaching distance, and we are enhancing our distance with a process called Quality Matters, to be sure that the distance isn't just turning on a screen and dumping a PowerPoint on, but it's really the real deal in terms of teaching. I think that it's also going to mean that we have, in fact, it was funny that we made the decision just last month, before COVID, to turn our master's degree into a completely online master's degree. Now, of course, the people who proposed that are saying, "See, Pat, I told you what a great idea this is." And but hopefully that it's going to work out. Of course, we and 20 other really good programs are going to be competing for that market. Hate to sound business-like, but we are a business also, besides an educational institution. Second part of your question: what about industry and what can we do? What have we done? We immediately started doing webinars. One on food and beverage, and then we have another one coming out very soon on digital marketing for hospitality. With a focus on COVID and re-entering the marketplace. So that's one thing we did right away. The other thing we did is to one of our professors, Jihan Chobanoglu, and you know him, I'm sure. Jihan is very aggressive in terms of an online platform, and he heads our M3 Center, which is funded by the McGibbon M3 Corporation. And so that M3 Center is a research center, and it's international and technology. What he did and is doing, in fact, there's one going on right while we're talking right now. He's recording webinars with all kinds of groups of people to show to the industry, much like you're doing here, different focuses. And so we've been doing that. The other thing we've been doing is working very closely with our board of advisors. And you, Richard, had firsthand experience with that with the panel that we did. We had a lot of good feedback on that, by the way, and the panel that we did at our board meeting. So the board members in particular have been coming to us with their daily concerns, everything from, I'm at 5% occupancy, 10%, and I curb takeout just isn't this final solution, to I need people now because we had some people who didn't return. We have one hotel here in town that ran on Memorial Day weekend 95% occupancy, which is amazing. ADR 195. So we have our restaurants. Our big problem, I think, is to be sure that we maintain the social distancing in those restaurants. Good news for us here in this part of Florida is that we have a lot of outdoor seating. For the industry long term, I think that we're going to see a few things. I think we're going to see, probably taking the long view, a realization that when we do planning for business interruption and for other problems that happen in the hotel, we plan for fires now, we plan for hurricanes, all that. I think the other one is going to be for health issues, and that we are going to have those plans ready for what happens when the market disappears overnight. What can we do? How do we deal with it? And I think if that can be planned, and I think we're ready to work with industry on fashioning those plans. So I probably gave you a much longer answer than you wanted, Richard, but that's it. I think we can help with getting built in to the management systems dealing with business disruption. That's a long-term view. Short-term, of course, we're going to have to reopen the hotels. And I'm not too worried about the sanitation and all, but we know how to handle all that. I don't think that's going to be a huge issue. I said enough.
Well, that wasn't the secret to that 3-2-1, but it worked. Anyway, we've never done that before, but maybe that's a good idea. But the point I want to finish here before we pivot over to Brian is we have had a lot of really great restaurateurs and operators on these helpful moments, but it's been great to have someone like yourself, Dr. Moreo, because you all do think out of the box. You do think tanks. You do things with your professors, and there's a reason why your folks have gone out and in creating higher education, because you do think better than a lot of us. You have critical thinking, and so that's what I heard you all say, and I appreciate that. So thank you, Pat, for joining us so very much, and your staff, and professors.
Good, my pleasure.
I'm going to pivot over to you because video and marketing and what Dr. Moreo and his team are doing as far as webinars, that really pivots well to your suggestions on the marketing side. So take it away, please, Brian.
Yes, thank you. And I appreciate the time as always. So to go along with what we were just talking about, webinars obviously are fantastic, but obviously, you're a restaurateur, webinar isn't really going to make sense. But you've heard us talking about two things over and over again, and that's use video to communicate, right? And two is build your list. And let's talk about how to combine those two, because there's this thing called YouTube ads, and it is incredibly inexpensive right now. And you can actually get views. So having somebody watch at least 30 seconds of your video for about 3 cents per view. Now, if you don't get that 30 seconds, it costs you nothing. So please look at that. And if you have questions about how to do it, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Generally, when we set up campaigns, we will set it for about 10 cents per view, but we average between 3 and 4. And if we ever go to 5, we pretty much are like, yeah, this campaign is done. So think about that math. We're talking about thousands of people who are going to see the videos that you want them to see in the exact market that you want to put that information out in. So if you've ever thought, okay, Brian keeps talking about videos, what do I do with them? That is a great way to get lots and lots of people to hear your exact message. So please take advantage of that. It's really powerful tool right now.
And you can get the who, what, where, when, why, and how out in 30 seconds. You really can.
Yep.
It's your logo, it's your brand, it's your tagline, it's your concept, it's quick hours, and you're done. And it's really about being out there, getting out there and making sure you're at the top of the mind of your guests and the potential new guests that you have to bring back in. So that's our helpful moment. Dr. Moreo, any other thoughts you have for us, Pat?
Just real quickly, I want to thank our restaurant, particularly our restaurant colleagues, and this is a restaurant organization, for all the help they've given us. I've got interns this summer, and I thought we were going to have a hard time placing them. I must say, the half the interns are placed in almost all in restaurants right now, and the restaurants have been very, very helpful to us, and we appreciate that. The other half are using previously earned experience in restaurants, especially. So it's a huge component for us in our education.
So one of the last things is we're going to ring the bell because we're 3 minutes out before we get our dine in. But one of the things I want everybody to realize is Dr. Moreo is not just a higher education individual, somebody with a PhD and has been teaching for years. He's got huge practical experience. He understands the hospitality industry. And yes, I am on the advisory board at USF, but if those of you this is reaching, you want your students to understand practical application. Dr. Moreo is an expert on all the above, and I couldn't really speak to a better person to be a part of and associated for these nearly 30 years that I've known him. And so I want to thank you for including me also in your advisory board. So Pat, thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
All right. That's our helpful moment for today. Bye for now, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.